This MEPDG training video is manufactured by the University of Georgia for use by the Georgia Department of Transportation as a partial fulfillment of Research Project 17-18. This module will cover MEPDG basics with traffic and climate inputs in AASHTO-WARE Pavement ME design. This is the first module in a series of modules discussing MEPDG inputs and implementation. The GDOT User Input Guide and Train the Trainer Workshop manuals are considered necessary tools for this module series. We will begin with a brief overview of the software layout. In the menu bar, you will find important functions such as New, Open, Save, Run, Import, Export, Undo, and Help. To begin a pavement design, select New. You should notice several windows appear on your screen. These include the Explorer tab, Project Information tab, Pavement Material Layers window, and Project Identifiers window. The first step in the design process is to determine general project information. In the Project Information tab, you will define the design type and pavement type. The design type selections include new pavement, overlay, or restoration design. And the pavement types include flexible, JPCP, CRCP, and semi-rigid. For now, we will select a new flexible pavement. After selection, three new windows become available: the Performance Criteria window, Pavement Materials window, and the Layer Inputs window. Before moving to these inputs, we will finish defining the project information. Section 3.3 of the User Input Guide states, the design life for all new pavement and rehabilitation designs is 20 years, so for most designs this should remain unchanged. Construction date inputs are keyed to monthly traffic loadings and climate data and affect all layer moduli. Table 3.1 in the User Input Guide suggests inputs based on your design. We will input the recommended dates for a new flexible pavement. Next, we will define the performance criteria. The first input to determine is the initial IRI. Initial IRI refers to the International Roughness Index and may be determined from Table 4.1 of the User Input Guide. The terminal IRI input may be found in Table 4.6 of the User Input Guide and is based on the pavement type, route, and number of lanes. AC top-down fatigue cracking is not considered as a design input in the current version of Pavement ME. Therefore, we will input a value above the standard threshold. AC bottom-up fatigue cracking, AC thermal cracking, and permanent deformation of the total pavement are all inputs that may be found in Tables 4.2 through 4.5 of the User Input Guide. In cases where a rigid pavement design is selected, the inputs for JPCP transverse cracking and joint faulting, as well as CRCP punchouts, are also found within these tables. Permanent deformation for AC only is another unused input and may be left unchanged. Finally, the appropriate reliability must be determined. Reliability levels are selected based on the type of roadway and may be found in Table 4.7 of the User Input Guide. The next set of inputs discussed in this module are the traffic inputs. To access the traffic inputs, double-click the Traffic dropdown in the Explorer tab. The majority of traffic inputs will be located in the window on the left, beginning with the average annual daily truck traffic. Inputs highlighted in this section are considered site-specific and should be obtained from the Traffic Analysis Branch of the Office of Planning or the Office of Transportation Data within GDOT. However, if sufficient truck volume data is unavailable, Table 5.1 of the User Input Guide should be used for the lane distribution factor. Moving down the list, the traffic capacity input does not have any impact on the predictions of the performance indicators and may be ignored in the current version of the software. The axle configuration inputs correspond to the following definitions from the User Input Guide and may be left as default values unless otherwise specified. Similarly, the lateral wander inputs may be left as default values and are only required for rigid pavements. Inputs located under wheelbase are also only required for rigid pavements, but a set of recommended values are found in the User Input Guide. Vehicle class distribution and growth is also taken into account with Pavement ME. To access these inputs, select the Load Default Distribution button at the top right. Appropriate percentages are provided by the Traffic Analysis Branch of the Office of Planning, and Table 5.2 in the User Input Guide is recommended only when the actual truck traffic data is unavailable. The growth rate and growth function inputs can be changed in the Vehicle Class Distribution and Growth window. The growth rate should be provided by the Traffic Analysis Branch of the Office of Planning. The growth function is selected from a drop-down, where the choices include none, linear, and compound. Finally, monthly distribution factors may be imported into Pavement ME from the Truck Traffic Data Library established for GDOT. These values are also presented in Tables 5.3 and 5.4 of the User Input Guide. To review and confirm the distribution factors, return to the Traffic dropdown in the Explorer tab and right-click on each of the inputs. Next, we will discuss the climate inputs. To access the climate inputs, double-click the Climate dropdown in the Explorer tab. To begin, direct your attention to the map in the bottom right window. Use the search bar to search for your project location. Zoom in on the map until the climate stations surrounding your project are clearly visible. If the climate station pins surrounding your project are not blue, click on a pin to begin the data import process. A window will appear directing you to the InfoPave website. Once again, search for your project location in the search bar or navigate to the nearest location using the mouse. Next, scroll down to the bottom of the page and select the Download Mirror Climate Data File button. A pop-up will appear prompting you to begin the download. Open the download and copy the HCD file. Now, in order to import the data to Pavement ME, first you must configure your settings to show all hidden files, folders, and drives. Do this by opening Control Panel, selecting Appearance and Personalization, Show Hidden Files and Folders, and selecting the Show Hidden Files option. Then, navigate to your local disk drive. Select the Hidden Program Data folder, AstroWare, ME Design, HCD, and paste the file in the folder. Once returning to Pavement ME, click the Refresh Markers button and select the new blue Climate Data pin. You may now click the Select Climate button to import the climate data. This concludes the topics discussed in this module. Proceed to the next module to learn about MEPDG, inputs and implementation for subgrade and base materials.